look at your life and notice cycles repeating with a worrying precision, in the recurring scarcity, in relationships that hurt, in exhaustion that doesn't even feel like yours. There is an invisible biological loyalty that keeps you bound to these scripts, not in your mind, but physically etched into your fascia. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover how to dissolve this family karma using 3 microsomatic pressures that let your body know the cycle of pain is over. Fascia is the living archive where your ancestors' silence hardened your jaw and their fear contracted your diaphragm. If you don't know how to access these vibrational knots, you'll keep repeating the story of those who came before, living a life that is only an echo of the past. What will be revealed here is a little-known shamanic technique capable of releasing ancient memories even today. Leaving this video now means accepting that these inherited patterns keep dictating your choices and limiting your power. Interrupting this transmission of knowledge keeps you from accessing the key to breaking silent contracts that are draining your life force at this very moment. Get ready, because what we're about to access is not just relief, it's the rewriting of your lineage's vibrational code. Fascia is not just a tissue of mechanical support. It is the living archive of your lineage. This continuous, highly innervated veil that envelopes every muscle and organ records the survival marks of previous generations. The hermetic concept of as above, so below manifests here in your biology. The geometry of the pain lived by your ancestors is now drawn into the architecture of your connective tissue. Ancient healing traditions already understood the body as a microcosm reflecting the family's collective story. For shamans and alchemists, healing the individual body was inevitably a service rendered to the entire family tree. They knew that what had not been resolved back then would keep vibrating in matter until it was transmuted. In your body, this happens through chemical markers and chronic tension. Modern epigenetics reveals that traumas and toxic environments leave inheritable chemical tags on DNA. The fear your grandmother felt, the anger your father swallowed, all of it alters the expression of your genes and the tonicity of your fascia today. The nervous system, according to polyvagal theory, maintains inherited states of alertness, reacting to dangers long gone, as if they were happening right now. This matters because you can spend your entire life trying to resolve with cognitive therapy what is inscribed in the viscosity of your tissue. The locked jaw, the knot in your stomach, and the stiff hip are not just how you are. They are somatic loyalties. There is someone who felt the exact weight of this inheritance and whose story will illuminate how it is possible to break this biological loyalty. What she went through mirrors what many carry without ever naming. Sarah, at 48, worked as a nurse in a large hospital, tending to other people's pain while ignoring the pain she carried inside. She lived an exhausting routine, always on the edge of overgiving, surrounded by a sense of scarcity that didn't match her effort. Even though she was competent and dedicated, Sarah saw her relationships and finances collapse again and again. Following a script of sacrifice she knew well from the stories of her mother and grandmother, Sarah's pain was physical and diffuse. A tension in her jaw that ground her teeth at night and a constant heaviness in her hips that made her feel like she was dragging chains with every step. She felt an inexplicable guilt for wanting something better, as if thriving were a betrayal of the women in her family who had suffered so much. It was an ancient, faceless sadness that kept her from moving forward. She tried conventional therapies, meditation, and even anxiety medication, but the relief was always temporary. The sensation of being trapped under an invisible ceiling persisted, and family conflicts seemed like boomerangs that always returned. Sarah knew rationally that she didn't need to repeat those patterns, but her body reacted with the same fear and submission as past generations. It was during a quiet shift that she came across a text about fascial memory and family karma. The idea that her jaw stored inherited silence and her hip the blocked action of her ancestors resonated like thunder. That night, alone at home, she decided to test the micropressure technique. Sarah sat down, touched her jaw joint, and applied the subtle pressure described. The instant she connected her breath with the intention of returning that silence, something visceral happened. A wave of heat rose up her neck, and an uncontrollable urge to cry, not from sadness, but from discharge, overtook her. She realized she was touching decades of unspoken words. What Sarah began to experience in that moment is exactly what you are about to access now in your own body. The technique that unlocked her system is ready to be applied in you. We're going to begin by dissolving the knots of silence and fear. The first micropressure focuses on the jaw, the place of inherited silence, where generations swallowed truths to survive. The temporomandibular joint holds decades of unsaid words, of yes spoken when the body was screaming no. This is the portal where loyalty to family silence crystallized into chronic tension, waiting to be transmuted. Sit with your spine upright and rest your fingertips gently on your temporomandibular joints, just in front of your ears. You'll feel a small, bony hollow where the jaw meets the skull. This is where ancestral tension resides, compacted into layers of unspoken things that hardened the tissue. Do not press hard. Use subtle micropressures, as if you were just asking the tissue for permission to enter. As you press lightly, inhale deeply through your nose and exhale through your slightly open mouth, letting the air leave with a soft sound. Notice if you feel the urge to yawn or sigh. These are signs that the nervous system is switching off old defenses. The vibrational intention here is, I return the silence that isn't mine. Keep breathing into this point for 30 to 60 seconds. Notice if your jaw begins to hang naturally, without effort, as if an invisible weight were being lifted. You may feel heat rising up your neck, a pulsing at your temple, or even slight dizziness. Your body is recalibrating its baseline of safety. This emerging lightness is the first sign that the somatic loyalty to silence is being undone. Now move down to the diaphragm, the place of inherited fear. Place your hands just below the sternum, at the pit of your stomach. Apply tiny circular micropressures, almost imperceptible, seeking out the tension that lives beneath your ribs. Breathe, expanding this region, allowing the air to reach where there used to be contraction. Notice if warmth or slight nausea arises. It is ancient fear being dislodged. Say inwardly, the fear that belonged to them can go. The diaphragm is not only the muscle of breath, it is the vault where the terror of past generations remains imprisoned. When your ancestors faced real threats, hunger, violence, persecution, the diaphragm contracted to protect the vital organs. This protective contraction was never fully released and was transmitted epigenetically through chemical markers on the DNA. By touching here with clear intention, you are undoing survival contracts that no longer serve your present life. Before we complete the circuit with the hip, you need to know what happened when Sarah touched these deep points. Sarah kept breathing into the pressures, and the feeling of betrayal for wanting to be happy began to dissolve into hot tears. She understood, not with her mind but with her flesh, that carrying the pain was not the only way to belong to that family. As she released the diaphragm, the chronic tightness in her chest gave way to a spaciousness she had never known. Over the following weeks, the transformation was tangible. Sarah was able to set boundaries at work without the paralyzing guilt she'd had before. The dynamic with her mother changed. She no longer reacted to old provocations with submission, but with a calm, steady presence. Sarah's body stopped being a repeater of traumas and became a space of choice. What she felt, that lightness of someone dropping baggage that isn't theirs, is what your body is beginning to process now. The release that unlocked her system is happening in you right this moment. Let's go to the third portal, the hip, the place of inherited blocked action. This is where paralysis in the face of life resides, the loyalty to failure or stagnation. While the jaw held silence and the diaphragm imprisoned fear, the hip froze movement toward what you truly desire. Place your hands on the sides of your hip or on your iliac crests. Apply rhythmic micro-pressures as if you were waking up bone and flesh. If possible, gently shift your body weight or bend your knees, inviting mobility. Feel the density of this region begin to dissipate. As you touch, visualize that it is allowed to move forward. The vibrational intention is clear. I honor those who could not go further. By opening in myself a possible path. Notice if an urge arises to move your hips in circles, to stretch your legs, or even to walk. These impulses are life flowing back into territories that had been frozen by loyalty to family stagnation. Allow your body to move however it wants, without judgment or excessive control. Breathe deeply, integrating the 3 points: loose jaw, spacious diaphragm, alive hip. The ritual of release is complete. You have just dissolved layers of fascial memory that kept you bound to scripts that are not yours, creating space for your own truth to manifest in concrete action. The physical marker that the release has occurred is unmistakable, a sense of internal space, as if your skeleton had more freedom inside your skin. You may feel your jaw hanging slightly without tension, a breath that travels all the way down to the base of your pelvis without meeting barriers, or a softening in the solar plexus that was previously armored. This newly discovered space is not imagination. It is fascial reorganization happening in real time, dissolving the density that kept you tied to inherited scripts. To anchor this new state of vibrational freedom in the nervous system, use this signal gesture. Place one hand over your heart and the other over your lower belly. Breathe deeply for 3 full cycles, sensing the vertical connection between feeling and doing, between the emotion in your chest and the creative power in your pelvis. Hold this gesture for 30 to 60 seconds, allowing your body to memorize this configuration of openness. Repeat this anchoring whenever you need to reactivate the state of sovereignty over your own life. The return protocol is your tool of sovereignty for the coming days and weeks. When you notice yourself reacting with the fear or silence of your lineage, that familiar contraction in your stomach, your jaw locking again, or paralysis in the face of a decision, stop immediately. Touch the point corresponding to what you feel. Jaw if it's silence, diaphragm if it's fear, hip if it's paralysis. Breathe deeply into that point and repeat inwardly with firmness, "In me, only wisdom remains." This phrase reorients your nervous system to the present, preventing the old pattern from automatically reinstalling itself into your tissue. The seal is complete. You have not only experienced a momentary release, you have gained access to a recalibration code that you can use whenever the family weight tries to return. You are not just relieving muscle tension, you are becoming the turning point of your lineage. By releasing the fascia with conscious micro-pressures, you stop being the automatic continuation of the past and become the artisan of your own path. What changes now is not only your life, but the vibrational memory of those who came before and the freedom of those who will come after. You have just broken a silent contract that spanned generations. This is only the beginning of a larger alchemical work. There are deeper layers of tissue memory waiting to be explored as your body learns that it is safe to live its own truth without carrying the weight of stories that are not yours. There are other vibrational knots, other biological loyalties still dormant in your nervous system, waiting for the right moment to be dissolved. The territory of somatic healing is vast, and you have just taken your first conscious step into it. Thomas Merton, monk and contemplative thinker, wrote, "The greatest disaster that can happen to a human being is to remain unconscious." What you did here was awaken the body's awareness, taking it off the autopilot of family loyalty and returning to it the sovereignty over its own responses. This is true alchemy, transforming inherited density into creative fluidity. God does not require you to pay a toll in inherited suffering to prove loyalty to those who came before. He invites you to manifest the unique power your soul brought, free from chains that were never yours. The liberation of the body is a sacred act of returning to the original essence you have always been, before the layers of survival piled up. If this content resonated with you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Share this video with someone you can see carrying invisible burdens that don't belong to them. Consider becoming a channel member. This allows us to keep bringing deep healing practices and helps us reach more people who need this knowledge. Write in the comments, "I dissolve the family karma in my fascia, and now I breathe my own life." This affirmation marks in the outer world the inner transformation that has just taken place in your tissue. Click on the video on the screen to keep exploring other layers of body memory. Each practice reveals a different portal in your nervous system. Your ancestors passed on to you everything they couldn't resolve: the locked jaw, the contracted diaphragm, the paralyzed hip. They imprinted ancient memories into the fascia because they had no choice. You dissolve them with conscious micro-pressures because now you do. The difference between inheriting family karma and transmuting it is simply knowing where to touch.